Good evening. This is your boy Ted Blanchard. I realized earlier tonight that today, July 31st, 2018, is the 30th anniversary of WrestleFest 1988, which was held at Milwaukee County Stadium. And I attended that, and when I realized about a week or so ago that was coming up, I watched a few matches from the comp I have, which is the Coliseum video, but also some matches taped from Primetime. There were 15 total matches on this show, and until I looked at the results tonight, I didn't even remember a couple of them, but this was a big stadium show. It was held you could compare it to SummerSlam, but not really, because it was at the end of July instead of August. Maybe it's more like the big event that was held in '86. I'm not sure the exact date of that, but anyways, for me, this was huge. I'd done my first ever event the year before, actually, at Wisconsin State Fair, which is another kind of unusual venue. But then this card was announced for the summer of '88 with Hogan and Andre, what's that, fourth match maybe, and this time in a cage, in my home venue. I wasn't a huge baseball fan yet back then. I am now of the Brewers, but this was a big deal, real big deal. I went with my mom and dad, my older brother, and my cousin, who's a year younger than me, that watched wrestling somewhat with me, so we headed up there. I remembered walking in. I could hear Gorilla Monsoon's voice, so I was excited, like, oh, Gorilla's here. Like he'd be announcing and we'd hear it, but on the TVs where they show the game in the concourse, they were showing like WrestleMania 4 clips, like events leading up to our show. Just huge. So without further ado, let's get to it. The first match was Big Boss Man against Scott Casey, which I don't remember that, but Boss Man, of course, won that. Then Bruce Barber Beefcake and Hercules. I did watch that one a couple weeks ago. The finish of that was they kind of did the shoulder up thing, like both guys had him down and Beefcake lifted his. So he got the win. He was getting pushed too, but it was kind of, I guess, just get him on the card anyway. Then the first match you see on the Coliseum video was the Rougeau brothers, who were like in the process of turning heel against the Killer Bees. I hate the Rougeaus. And because of that, also the Quebecers. Like, it's not even, I think it's more Jacques than Raymond. I don't even think it's him being a good heel. I just don't like the sight of that guy. The Rougeaus won that. The Bees were on their way out. Then we have Bad News Brown against Bret the Hitman Hart, which was set up by WrestleMania 4 Battle Royal. Bad News won, turning Bret Hart face. And here, I guess the anvil didn't come out till the end. Like, Bret was starting to transfer to being a single face, but it didn't actually take that year. But these two had feuded before in Stampede. They matched up really well. Bad News reverses a roll up and pulls the tights, so he got the win. And when that happened, in my upper deck section at County Stadium, a man threw his nachos at a little boy that was cheering Bad News. And that was a scene. Okay, and then after that, Honky Tonk Man and Jimmy Hart came out. It was weird. They had the little interview platform set up on the floor. So then Gene talked to him just for a few seconds about his upcoming match against Hacksaw Jim Duggan. You haven't lived until you heard Lord Alfred Hayes doing the "ho" on the Coliseum video, let me tell you. But Jimmy Hart interfered, resulting in a DQ. And then Duggan smashed up the guitar to get his heat back, I guess you'd say. Next, it's the Bolsheviks. R.I.P. Nikolai Volkov, who just died this past Sunday, which is a terrible day for wrestling. R.I.P. Brian Christopher and Brickhouse Brown. But the Bolsheviks faced the Powers of Pain, and I'm just thinking now, I don't know how much the Powers have been on WWF TV at that point. There's a clip of Tito bringing them out that I think was even just on the unreleased DVD that they released a little while back. I'm not sure if that was actually on regular TV, though, that Tito Santana brought the Powers of Pain in to get revenge against Demolition. Here they did not have their manager, the Baron, with them. But the Powers of Pain, as you'd expect, won. I was familiar with them already from NWA. Jim the Animal Neidhart, who was working heel still, beat Leaping Lanny Poffo, and Lanny read a nice poem about WrestleFest in Milwaukee. Then, interestingly, we get a match that was not on the WrestleFest videotape, but I think was on like Macho Madness or one of those. Macho Man Randy Savage, ooh yeah, the WWF champion, defending against Ted DiBiase. Rematch from WrestleMania 4. And Macho, after a long battle Savage counters a slam attempt with a small package for the pin victory. Virgil had already hit him with a chair. And then he gets beat down after the fall, but he ends up getting the chair and chasing the two off. Then we have Jake the Snake Roberts and Ravishing Rick Rude, at this point feuding, which they weren't at WrestleMania 4 when they had their boring tournament match, so there's more heat here. They brawled into a double countout. They weren't going to blow it off here or anything, but it says anyways it was better than WrestleMania 4, and I'm positive that's correct. King Haku beat Sam Houston. I take their word for it. And come to think of it at this point too, this doesn't list it because the match wasn't shown until the Kurt Hennig DVD, but Mr. Perfect himself strolled out and faced Terry Taylor. I didn't know either guy was signed to the WWF at this point, which is pretty crazy. I knew them both from the territories, but funny how things work out. Ultimate Warrior beat Bobby Heenan in a weasel suit match with the Crusher at ringside. He's like the ring announcer. Demolition successfully defended against the British Bulldogs. Dino Bravo, who's just the worst, beat Ken Patera. And then in a cage match, Hogan beat Andre the Giant. Andre got his head stuck in the cage, as I recall. Hogan climbed out. I was very excited anyway. I loved Hogan at that time. Hogan even came out in the red shirt, which is weird. I like to mix it up. So that was WrestleFest. I don't think that's on the network yet, but it's around from Coliseum Video. The other reason I wanted to do a quick podcast was to promote my Saturday Night's Main Event Chronicles ebook, as I reviewed all the shows. There was a lot of bad in it, but reviewed each of the original NBC shows, and that is available on Amazon. If you're on Kindle Unlimited, it's free. Otherwise, go to amazon.com/DP/B07FC7SZ1F, or just Google Ted Blanchard Saturday Night's Main Event Chronicles. Thank you.